Demetrius Morant, we need to talk. No, I don't even want to talk to him. He had his chance. He did what he did, and he spent the block and kept the same behavior. So we gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about Demetrius in this video. But before we get into it, you already know what time it is. If you are new, go ahead and hit the sub for your boy so he can hit 1,000 in just, no, I wouldn't even say a month. Let's hit 1,000 in a week or two. Let's try for that. And if you're not new, you already know what to do. Drop a like. Let me know what you think about Ja, or I'm calling him Demetrius from this point forward because that's how he acting. Honestly, all I can say is, here we go again. I mean, it sucks to me because I was one of the guys that has been saying, and I continue to say, Ja is a 23-year-old man and he's living like most 23-year-olds. He just has some money and he's in the limelight. So we see a lot more. At this point, it's like, you're downright dumb. It's stupid. There's no other way for me to put it. And I don't even like calling people dumb. I don't like insulting intelligence. I don't like any of that. But let's call a spade is dumb. Now, originally, it didn't seem that big of a deal, but after the incident that had happened in Denver, and when we were peeling back the layers, realizing that, you know, he might have brought a gun on a team plane, he might have had gun with him, you know, during team activities and things of that nature. And of course, the NBA frowns upon, and it strictly says in their rules, you're not allowed to have a gun in their dwelling, which is basically the plane, training facility, wherever, but you can't have a gun on team business. And that's essentially what he had when they went to Denver and lost that night in Denver. And might I add, he stunk it up in the second half. So I guess that's the steam he was blowing off. I don't know. Here's the thing though. That's not the first incident. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure if I know what the first incident truly was, but it does go back to last year. Not last season. I'm talking about 2022. There's like 5 or 6 incidents. A couple range from his mom was at finish line, got into it with the store employee. She called Ja. Ja showed up with not 3 niggas, not 4, he showed up with 8 to 9 people. That's what it says on the police report, so I'm going to go off of that. He showed up with 8 to 9 people, basically pressing the finish line employee for doing his job. Then he pressed the mall security for doing their job. I don't know. I think it's kind of weak. Why are you pressing mall security? They ain't got no gun. And why are you pressing the dude at finish line who I'm sure is just there to get his bag and go be on his way? Then after that, there was a situation where his sister had a basketball game or volleyball game, one of the two. It doesn't really matter. The point is, there was a kid in the crowd that apparently said something towards his sister while she was on the court. His mom calls him again. He pulls up once again. Again, stupid. You're looking for conflict where you don't need to be in that situation, especially because of who you are. Then we heard about the backyard pickup game where he had a 17-year-old playing pickup basketball in his backyard, and reportedly on the police report, it said that Ja and his best friend, and we're going to get to him in a minute. I'm not even going to say his name, but we're going to get to that best friend. Ja and his best friend repeatedly punched the kid multiple times in the back of the head. And on the way out, Ja showed his blick and told him basically, you know what time it is if you act out of pocket. That's weird because it's a 17-year-old kid. However, Ja did go on to say that he did it out of self-defense because the kid said he would come back. Now, in that situation, not the others, just this singular situation, I personally feel like it was just a lot of shit talking and it kind of went too far. There's nobody there to settle it down, to calm the shit talking down. And it probably got to a level it shouldn't have gone, but even still, Ja, that's dumb. Why are you showing a kid your weapon? Then when we get into the season, they play the Pacers. I don't recall if they win or lose. To me, doesn't matter. His best friend is on the sideline once again, gets into it with a Pacers player, damn near walks on the court, which then made him get kicked out of the arena. Now, when this happened, there were reports that after the game, when the Indiana travel team was getting everything together, that there were people that were getting lasers trained on them, buzzing around, whatever you want to call it, and it was reportedly from Ja's car. Now, this one is the most speculatory of them all because it is one of those things where the NBA came out and said themselves they can't, prove that. However, with his track record and everything that we've heard and everything that we've seen, and honestly, 4 out of 6 of these incidents, and when I say 6, the other ones I'm talking about is the Nuggets game where after they lost that game, he was in a strip club with the gun, and then most recently, he was on live with his best friend, yet again, showing a gun. 4 out of these 6 incidents involve a gun. So if we're talking about the Indiana game, and even though that is speculatory, I have reason to believe it is true. I have reason to believe that something of that nature occurred because this is your track record. This is who you are. You obviously operate that way. That's what you go to in terms of grabbing. And I'm not surprised if that was truly occurring with that Indiana situation. Now, in terms of the other situations in Memphis and stuff, if you're Ja's mom, you gotta know who your son is and not call him into situations like that. First of all, Ja, if you feel like you need to protect yourself or your family, hire a security guard. You 100 mil up for a reason. You got the money to do it. Go fucking do it. Stop doing all this dumb shit where you feel like you gotta handle it. Secondly, my dukes, most respect to any mom out there and all that. But at the end of the day, your son is Ja Morant. His name is going to carry your family's legacy for years to come strictly because he is an NBA talent. But not only is he an NBA talent, he is a max player. Unfortunately, he lost out on $32 million this year because he missed out on NBA, partly because of this kind of behavior here. But regardless, as his mom, you should know what kind of position he's in and know that he shouldn't be put in a position to where he has to get active for his family. Because if it's me, whether I'm a thug or not, that's my dukes. And if you crossing my dukes, you crossing my sister, whatever the case is, I'm handling that. However, knowing who your son is, you cannot put him in that situation. You got to stop doing that. And that's 2 or 3 times that his mom has called him in this last year and a half that we know about. Now, I mentioned that his best friend has been with him a lot of the time involving some of these incidents, which to me is a cause for concern. This is the same friend that is banned from the field house in Indiana. He can't go to any of their games for the rest of the year, just the calendar year, not the basketball year. So after December 31st, he could go back. But regardless, the fact that you were banned from the arena in the first place, and it wasn't something that was, you just ran on the court randomly or you did something dumb like that's just out of fun. You were causing friction, ready to fight, an actual player, not even a referee, not even a fan. That tells me you're in a lane you're not meant to be in. You're talking shit to people that you should not be talking shit to. Let Ja do that. That is Ja's job. And at the end of the day, these are NBA players. They're not really about to go and take it to that level because they know they're going to lose money as soon as anything becomes violent. So that's not going to happen. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I blame Ja for everything that he has done. Ja is a grown-ass man. Ja can make his decisions soundly, and he's able to do that. If you're able to sign a $100 million contract deal, you should be able to make sound decisions. However, I'm going to say this and take it with, a slight level of blame in the situation, more like a 2 to 10% blame. Nothing crazy because majority of it falls on Ja. Ja seems to have enablers behind him. His best friend seems to still be a part of that life when he really doesn't need to be, or he's holding on to that life when still he does not need to be. Ja obviously has a problem with his judgment for one, but 2, he has a obvious issue with his judgment when he's impaired, especially. We all know Ja loves his Casamigos. I love my Casamigos. We call it for Casa Fricos over here. But we got to know how to drink responsibly. There's a reason they say it in the commercials. It ain't no bullshit. It's really drink responsibly. The NBA came out and said during that Instagram live video when he was in the strip club, he was intoxicated then. That's not a sound reasoning. You shouldn't be a person that's intoxicated, especially if you're handling a gun. That's not smart. But overall, it just feels like Ja really bamboozled us because it got to a point where it's like Ja figured it out. He knows how to move at this point to where even if he does go out and things like that, he's going to keep it safe. He's going to be smart about it and things of that nature. But just seeing what happened the other day on this Instagram live, it was something that was like, this is who he is. I'm not mad, disappointed. I'm not even going to have a think piece about what I think the NBA should do because I'll be honest, on that regard, Ja didn't really break the law. Ja is out of the NBA season, so very technically, he can do what he did. Now, obviously, it's a horrible look. Awful look to be doing that, especially after your history, especially after missing games, and especially after telling us you went to a facility in Florida to get treatment. It's a horrible look. It's dumb at the end of the day. However, when it comes to NBA basketball, I'm not so sure what you actually do to him. I'm not so sure how you suspend him and justify suspending him because he's out of the season, meaning he's not working. He's on his own time. And if he's in a state where a gun is legal, permit or not, what can you really do? What are you going to suspend him for? Showing a gun, being a bad influence? You can't really suspend someone for being a bad influence, bad role model. Now, obviously, you could blackball him. You could change some things in your rules. You could do, the AI approach, changing dress codes, changing different ways that players can present themselves on social media, because that's how times are evolving. It's more a social media driven world to where you have to put bylaws for how players can act on social media. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. They may already have that. The NBA is probably ahead of the times. They already know, what they're doing with regard to that. But overall, that's just something that it's hard for me to see them really suspending him for a long, long period of time for an incident that's outside of the NBA season. Well, at least outside of his NBA season. Now, at the end of the day for Ja, if you feel like you need to carry a weapon for safety, for whatever the case is, you just need to hire security. You need to hire bodyguards. You need to hire other people to do those things, not do it yourself. Because again, you get in a situation, lives get taken. People aren't going to see you forever. Not for a couple days, not for a couple weeks like when you went on the retreat. They're going to miss you forever. Hire people to do that for you. There's no reason for you to be out there doing that yourself. That's 1. 2, stop putting yourself in these dumbass situations. You know your friend is on live more than likely. That fly really just fucked up my train of thought. Stop putting yourself in stupid ass situations. You know your friends are probably on live, and if you're on live, definitely don't show the gun like you did before. But if your homie's on live, or if your homie trains a camera at you, fuck being on live, fuck any of that. If you see a phone doing this, nah, bro. Or this, nah, bro. Put the gun away. Out of sight, out of mind. Do not bring it up. You gotta be smarter. You need to move smarter, because again, you're representing a lot of black men in America. And I said this in the first video I made, didn't get uploaded because my camera died, but Ja isn't a guy that's like LeBron or one of these behemoth athletes. Dudes that are 6'9", 6'10", 7 foot, even 6'6", 6'7", 6'8". Those are very, very rare heights to get to. And to make it to the league with the kind of talent like that's a very, very rare thing. Ja is a guy that is 6'1". He has the stature of basically me, or just any normal dude in the hood, to be honest. He's looked at as somebody that a little kid could look at and envision themselves being in that situation, strictly because he's a lot more personable to the average person, to the average human being. And he has to realize that whether you want to be a role model or not, you're gonna be a role model to somebody, and you gotta move smarter. I'm not even saying Ja gotta put the guns away. I'm not saying Ja needs to stop getting on live, drinking, any of that. Have your fun. Again, you're 23, 24 years old. Be smart about it. That's literally the overall point in this whole situation. You need to be smarter. You need to be wiser, and you need to move a lot better. You need to move like a professional athlete. That's really what it comes down to. But I'm not gonna lie, this video has gone on way longer than I really wanted it to be. This probably was more of I don't want to say sentimental, but I guess that's the best way to put it. It hits close to home because we have a lot of people in our community that are in situations like this, and a lot of times we can get in our own way, and this is a prime instance of that happening. And I'd hate to see another black man who is very, very successful go down, because we don't have many of those. So Ja, my message is to you is be smarter, move smarter, and make sure you don't stop getting them checks, bro. Get out your own way, because you're losing money already. You already lost upwards of 30+ mil by not being on All NBA. And I'm willing to bet my last dollar it's more than likely what happened after the Denver game and everything that happened in between. We all understand that this NBA stuff is political. That's just what it is. You have to be a good person inside and outside of basketball, all while having the optics of being a great person. But that's all I got for you guys in this one. Like I said, this has gone on way too long. Like, comment, subscribe if you're new. If you're not new, I don't know. Subscribe, like the video, do all that. Let me know what you think about Demetrius. And until next time, here's your boy TB with the greatest hoop stories and debates on the tube. And I'm out.